and I learned I had several relationships in my life with friends that were codependent. And my aunt gave me a book. It is so amazing. And I remember reading that and just realizing there was a whole nother side to life.
Hi, I am Judy Marie, owner of Miracles of Health. Thank you for watching, and please tap the like button and subscribe, as this really helps to spread valuable information. With me today, I am very honored and excited to share with all of you Tommy Collier, and he is the owner. Hi, Tommy.
Hi,
Welcome.
Judy.
And you're the owner of Collier Collective.
That's right.
Okay. And that can sound like a mouthful, but I'll tell you what, it's amazing what you have created. And I love that t-shirt. Always manifesting. This truly is you. This truly is you. This is your company. This is what you do in spreading manifestation to so many people. But for our listeners, I would like them to get to know you a little better. And if you can back up this a little bit, I never knew how you even got into all of this. Okay. I heard from a relative as a child, you just had this mind to create. Okay.
Yeah.
And I would like to a little bit of a view of what's it like, back then and now being Tommy Collier.
Well, thank you, Judy. I'm so happy to be here with you today. Gosh, where do I even start? I mean, well, yeah, I've always been a super creative person, but I think I've also been a technical person as well. I'm pretty much 50-50 right brain and left brain, which kind of makes it hard for me sometimes, but because those parts like to conflict. But yeah, I've always been creative. I've always had some kind of uh, thing or avenue through which to create in my hands. Oftentimes, technically so. So like I've had cameras and things like that in my life since a very early age, and I decided when I was in high school that I wanted to go the route of like going to art school versus like university. And so I ended up going to the Art Institute of Colorado and getting my degree in video production. And that was just like the best move I think I ever made in terms of deciding what to do with my life. From as a 17, 18-year-old, I think it's kind of crazy that we have to make these life decisions about what we're going to do with the rest of our lives at that age, because we don't know ourselves then, right? But I think I chose pretty well. And even though the work that I'm doing now is not necessarily just video production, I mean, I'm still doing a little bit of that. It has opened up so many avenues to me through my life and career. And then as far as like on the I don't know. Do you want me to talk more about career or talk about personal development stuff?
Well, I want to go off on something you just said a little bit. Okay.
Cool.
So as a child, I know for me, I same thing. I had this imagination. I
Yeah.
I didn't know it was more like a super imagination than most of my friends. I'm just always thinking of, oh, what are we going to do? A big neighborhood parade? Okay, let's do a big fashion show. I would just
Uh,
do these kind of things. And so as a young one, you had that brain,
yeah.
and that's unusual to have the balance of the left and the right. So
Yeah.
that's a really supercharged brain connection. That's
Mhm.
pretty impressive. But as a child, even obviously, you had a way to see things, of how they could possibly fit together or how you could create it to come more alive.
Yeah.
And what little I do know of you in a short period of time, that truly is what you do. Because you also have a business, a head shop business. Like
Yep.
when I first went to that, it's in Denver. I was blown away, Tommy. I had no idea the heightened level of professionalism, the people you've done, the people you do. the studio you have, and I recommend anyone who is watching this video, if that's something that you still tap into and you do some, they
Oh
got
yeah.
to have this experience. It's not just a typical headshot experience. You have a gift of bringing out the beauty, the talent, and the best in a person like I have never seen outside of maybe Bob Proctor, okay, which we'll talk about
Mhm.
shortly. But yeah, let's go into then that phase of how you went. And maybe here's a good time to just start saying your connection with Bob Proctor, what you did with that company community, and then branched out even more now of
Yeah.
then we're going to talk about this massive opportunity for so many people you've created.
Cool. Yeah, sure. So I really started my kind of personal development, spiritual mindset, whatever you kind of want to call that journey, in about 2010. Um, yeah, it's something. It's I've been around that kind of information a lot of my life because my aunt and my mom and think we're kind of into speakers like Wayne Dyer, Deepak Chopra, Marianne Williamson. And when I was younger, I kind of pushed against it. I was like, I don't really know what this is, and it, you know how when you're young and you're kind of like, you think your parents are kind of dorky and stuff, and I just thought like, I don't know what this is. I don't want any part of this. But then I entered kind of a dark period of my life in 2010, and I learned about what codependency was. And I learned I had several relationships in my life with friends that were codependent. And my aunt gave me a book called Codependent No More by Melanie Beattie.
Oh man,
Uh-huh.
that's a showstopper, right? If you're
Yeah.
codependent, you want that book.
Yes.
Or if
And
you're
I
not
read
sure
it.
if you are, you want that book.
You want that book. It is so amazing. And I remember reading that and just realizing there was a whole nother side to life. And um, even though I don't remember that book being overtly spiritual, it really started me down a spiritual path. And you know how things happen. You just, one thing leads you to the next. And before you know it, I'm like watching Wayne Dyer specials on PBS, and I'm going to his seminar in San Francisco. And I figured out who Abraham Hicks was, and I started listening to them, and just really started getting into that kind of information. And I remember also seeing The Secret when that came out, the movie The Secret in 2006. And then I kind of saw that again later on, and I was at the time had just been introduced to Bob Proctor, who was in The Secret, and my photography mentor at the time, who I had just started working with, was always talking about this guy Bob Proctor. You got to study Bob Proctor because he studied with Bob Proctor, and gave sang his praises and everything about how he'd helped him build his business. And so I started looking into Bob, and I was like, oh, he's the guy from The Secret, the white-haired guy in the tan suit. And so started listening to some of his information, and I just got hooked, and I ended up getting involved in his programs and with his company as a very good client. I will say to start with, I probably spent $100,000 with Bob's company when I first, that first like year or so, or actually, I guess it was 2 years of being a client. And Bob was just the best. If you don't know who Bob is, go look him up on YouTube. His YouTube channel is the Proctor Gallagher Institute. But if you're listening to this, I bet you know who Bob Proctor is. But yeah, Bob was just amazing, and I had this whole amazing manifestation journey that maybe we can come back sometime and I'll tell the full story here. But
Love
I
to.
went from being a client to working right with Bob as his creative director for 3.5, 4 years, the last 4 years of his life, pretty much.
I remember, Tommy, you shared, uh, if you could just for a few minutes, when you went into talking about this one day with me about Bob and doing headshots, you just would show up or
Yeah,
I really, this is such a little powerful story though. Could you share
sure.
that?
Yeah. So, okay, to kind of fill in the gaps here a little bit. So I was a client of Bob studying his programs, and I decided at one point to become one of his certified consultants. And his consultants are people that are sharing his information with their clients kind of all over the world. So I decided to become a consultant, and I was relatively new to that. But I was at one of the consultant training events that used to happen several times a year in Toronto, and noticed like the first one that I was at, the company provided headshots to the consultants during those events during the lunch hours. And I'm someone who's highly trained in headshot photography, as you're gathering listening to this. And I noticed, oh, these headshots are kind of a little bit more like mug shots that they're doing. And I thought, wouldn't it be cool? I would love to come in and offer to do the headshots for the consultants, because I know the power of the headshots that I make for people. So I thought, man, if I could do these, this would be so helpful to everybody. But I knew the way that I started, I've been studying with Bob, so I understood the laws, the universal laws, and the law of compensation and the law of cause and effect. And I understood that this would be something I would have to offer just to give. I wasn't going to be able to come in and say, hey, I want you to hire me to come and do these headshots. I understood, like, if I really want to do this and make this impact, and they don't really know me that well yet, like, I'm going to have to do this for free. But I was happy to do that. So I offered, and they said, well, sure, if you want to do that. So I made all these plans to come back on the next consultant training and bring all of my equipment in from Denver, which was a whole process. And anyway, cost me a lot of money anyway to do it, because I didn't know how to do it right at the time. And so I brought all my equipment in and did these headshots at the next training, and it was just a smash. It was just such a hit. There was probably about 100, maybe 150 consultants at that training, and I took all their headshots, and everyone was just like blown away. And it also just so happened at that training that Bob's grandson, Danny, was at the time becoming an illusionist. He was working on, doing like magic from the stage, on stage. And he came in one night on like our entertainment night to do a little magic show for us. And it was so fun. And I grabbed him afterwards, and I was like, hey, you want to be like a Las Vegas like illusionist, right? Like, that's kind of what he was working towards at the time. And he was like, yeah. And I'm like, you need a billboard. Do you have a great headshot of yourself for this Las Vegas billboard, promoting your show? He was like, no, I don't have anything like that. I'm like, come upstairs with me. And I took him upstairs to where I had my lights and everything set up, and I took this headshot of him. And I should have had it pulled up to show you here, but I guess I can.
Wow, this is, I had no idea. This is awesome.
Oh yeah, it was so cool. I think I have it actually right here. Let me just pull it up really quick so you can see. Okay, so
Okay.
so this is the picture of Danny. This is Bob's grandson. And I know if you're listening to the podcast, you can't see this. So come on over to the YouTube side, come over to Judy's YouTube channel so you can see it. But I took this picture of Danny in like 5 minutes. And then the next morning at this training, I kind of got up some courage, and I went up to Bob and I said, hey, Bob, I want to show you something. And I showed him my computer screen with this picture, and he just stared at it. And he said, I'm going to give you my phone number right now. I want you to text this to me. Will you text this to me? And I was like, yes, I will. And that was the moment
Ah,
that Bob Proctor and I, like, that
yeah.
he saw me, and I knew, for moving forward now, he knows who I am. And
Hmm.
that started kind of a chain of events that led
Hmm.
to me then within the next like 6 months, I
Hmm.
was offered the job to come be his creative director. So you never know how an act of pure service is going to lead you to something great, to some opportunity.
Yeah, and um, I've really observed this about you in your life, of how that law of compensation, okay,
Yep.
and about, giving more than what you even receive. Um, I, talk just a little more about that. Then we're going to go into
Sure.
it. We've got to talk about Collier Collective. It's a
Okay.
must.
Yeah. So if you're not familiar with the law of compensation, that was something that Bob used to teach. And you can find YouTube videos about that and stuff. But basically, the law of compensation dictates that well, three things. So one is, well, it's about kind of how much you're going to be worth, as in kind of how much. I guess I don't want to put money on it, but yeah, it's like money, like the
Value
amount.
to value or
Yeah,
something. Okay. Hmm.
yeah, and it's in ratio to three things. It's what's the demand for what you do? Like, is there a definite demand for what you do? And how well do you do it, and how difficult are you to replace?
Mm.
Yeah. And so, he used to say that if you are inspired to do anything, there's probably a demand for it. So that one's kind of taking care of itself. And so, really, the only one you need to focus on is number two. How well do you do it? Because if you do it extremely well, you will be very difficult to replace. And that's something that I think I even understood before I met Bob, because I've always, like, one of my core values in my work is excellence. Like, you can't really see them, but I've got awards behind me from my
Mhm.
television career. Because I've just always been somebody, like, if I can't do it really well, it's not worth doing. Like, I want to do things extremely well. And I've worked very hard to hone my skills and my skills to be able to do the work that I do very well. So I find myself difficult to replace in most situations.
Yeah. Wow, Tommy. This is exciting because here's where we're going to go talking about your company, what you have created as
Okay.
well. So, and I want to say my experience that, in the last several years in being exposed to some of the work and talent of what you do, um, is so important right now because you're offering a community. You're offering a level of how community can cooperate, learn, heal, and grow and prosper with each other, which is kind of, it goes beyond the paradigm of competition and being
Yeah.
competitive. Okay, not once in any of your classes, not once in anything that you teach, not once in anything that you have inspired and helped me with is putting anything down so you could be elevated or this can be
Yeah.
elevated. There is no competition. And in this time, anyways, worldwide of unity versus separateness, this is the type of community you are establishing by the day of bringing people together all over the world. Please talk about that.
Okay. Yeah. So our company is the Collier Collective, and that's my husband Monty and myself who have started this. And the program that Judy is referring to here is called Manifesting with Friends. And I'll tell you how we named it that. So Monty came up with that name, but we started this group as a book club, a reading study group, and it started on just doing a Monday, a Wednesday, and a Friday. So that's MWF, and then we came up with manifesting with friends. To
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
so
Okay,
that's what
that's
it
cool.
started as. Yeah, so a Monday, Wednesday, Friday morning reading group where we were reading and studying the great books. So we have read Conversations with God. We have read The Science of Getting Rich. We've read Brian Proctor, Bob Proctor's son, his new book, My Father Knew the Secret. We've read that several times in that group. These are these kinds of books. Feeling is the Secret, Neville Goddard. Um, we wanted to start this uh, as our idea in mind was to create a community, because so many people that we're connected to have, they've been students and fans of Bob Proctor and other great teachers like that, and have been through, courses and coaching and all of that stuff. And that's all wonderful. Like, it's laid the foundation for everybody's mindset and spiritual work and healing. But we felt like, everything that's happened in the world, COVID and just
Mhm,
everything, like, the biggest problem we have in the world, or one of them, is this illusion of separation.
Hmm.
And then during COVID, we had physical separation,
Right.
right? And we just wanted to create a place, a virtual place, and also in person. We're working towards
Mhm.
that too now, but just a place where people could come together and, so many of the coaching programs and courses and things like that out there, a lot of them are like self-study. You're with, you're just watching these videos or listening or reading or something on your own, or maybe there's a call that you can come on every month or every week or something where somebody's teaching to you, but it's not super like interactive. We
Mhm.
wanted to create a space where you're not coming just to listen to a singular coach or guru or teacher teach or speak. It's really a place to come together like as equals, as peers, and study some stuff and talk about things and just really discuss and be interactive, like as if we were all just in the same room together.
Mhm.
And that's what we've created. So it started as just a reading group, and now it is just blown up into this massive program that we offer. We run, we're at this point, we're up to, I think, 26 Zoom calls a week that we run for different things. So we've got different reading groups serving different time zones. We've got a mastermind. We've got health and fitness coaching. We have a beautiful exercise and meditation class that one of our teachers does every week. We have a watch party where we watch like an amazing YouTube video. This week we watched this amazing video with Deepak Chopra and then discussed it afterwards. I do a Q&A in there every week about anything anybody wants to ask in terms of business or creativity or technology or all the stuff that I'm good at. And we bring in experts to talk on different topics. Judy's taught a class for us, and we've had all kinds of different guest experts come in. And we also have the Proctors. We have Brian Proctor and his wife, Corey, that's Bob Proctor's son, and his wife do a Q&A every week. So it's this kind of massive ecosystem of transformational information and a whole online platform, kind of like, think like a Facebook group on steroids, but it's not a Facebook group.
Mhm.
And so that we're literally connected like 24/7.
So it goes back to your shirt,
Yes.
always manifesting.
Yeah. So
Okay.
this is like our, or go ahead, what you were going to say.
Yeah. Well, okay. So some people have different paradigms of what they think manifesting is.
Yeah.
Okay. And they think, oh, okay, you're just into making millions and millions and millions. All
Mhm.
right. And but let's break it down a little bit. What is manifesting?
So literally, like the definition of manifesting in its simplest form is to make visible. Just that, to make
That's it.
visible. Yep. So to make something invisible to visible. And that's really the definition that I subscribe to. So like manifestation and manifesting, it's very much like a buzzword now. And a lot of people are, talking about that and using that. And that's great. But it sounds kind of woo-woo to a lot of people too, who don't understand. But and people are thinking like, who are maybe new to it, they're kind of thinking like, oh, I'm gonna manifest. I'm manifesting all these good things in my life, and I want to. But what you don't realize until you get a little bit deeper is that we are always manifesting in all ways, all of the time. Our
I mean, no
entire
matter what, either you're
no matter what.
manifesting what you
Yeah,
want or what you don't want,
exactly. Yep.
right?
Like literally every single thing that shows up in your life is a manifestation. It's now visible.
That
So,
you manifested
yep. Yeah.
on
You've
some
made it
level,
you've made it
consciously
visible.
or subconsciously.
Yes. And it could have been your manifestation. It might have been someone else's manifestation,
Mm.
who lives in your house. It could be a collective consciousness manifestation. And all manifestations, yeah, manifestation doesn't mean, oh, I'm only creating good things in my life. We manifest, not good things or what we might call unwanted things all the time too. And that's really what like one of the core foundations of what we talk about in our group is the fact that, this is not just a fun buzzword that, we're manifesting, the next car or the house or the whatever. We're all manifesting all the time in all ways. And like we talk a lot about like polarity and relativity and things in our group where, good and bad are just two sides of the same coin or the same stick. Like everything, up and down, left and right, hot and cold. Um, they're everything's tied together. We are all tied together. Everything is one. And I know that sounds big and like you might not have your head wrapped around that concept, everyone listening to this, but once you start to, you
Yeah.
understand like, oh, okay,
Hmm.
this whole universe is a manifestation of our human minds, actually.
It's so within is without,
Yes.
that whole concept. Um, and that the movie, I watched this movie again last night. I haven't seen it for years, What Dreams May Come.
Oh, such a good one.
Yeah, I'd recommend people go watch it because it is about our thoughts, will is everything.
Yep.
I mean,
Yep.
energy has to exist from somewhere vibrationally, and that's where it comes
Yep.
from.
Yeah.
People who want a better life for themselves. And what I love about the classes you offer too, Tommy, is the compassion, the love, the care, and the patience of working with people because we all come in at different levels.
Yeah.
Okay. Nobody's above, nobody's below.
Yep.
We're all equal that way. And how what somebody might want to manifest in their life could be different from the next 20 people. I don't know. We're
For
we're
sure.
all different. But if we're not manifesting more of what we want, um, we're blocking the joy. Okay.
Yeah.
We're blocking our own happiness, our own passion, and some people I'm sure come into your program, which really, number one, is incredibly financially reasonable. It'll blow you away. Okay. Because it really is designed for anybody who
Yeah.
can do this. But people who they may not even know what they like. They may not even know what they feel. There could be those in the very beginning of just being around though that community that way. You start getting ideas, or you start thinking, well, maybe I can do this.
Yeah.
Maybe I want to do this.
Yeah. It's a very nurturing environment, I will say.
That's okay.
It's
Yeah.
very nurturing. And one of our things like going into this was because we some yeah, I say we, Monty and I, and also so many of our friends that are in this, we come from this world of coaching is such a big world now, like the
Yes. Yes.
mindset industry. It is really now an industry. It is a huge business, and so much of it is, I'm sorry to say, wrapped up in greed,
Hmm.
and so much of the information out there is very inspiring, very motivating, but also really can make you feel like you're not doing it right if you're not driving a Lamborghini or flying private. And a lot of coaches out there will, tell their clients to like go and buy that house or buy that car that they can't afford, because that somehow puts them in a category that they want to be in or whatever. And that's something that I feel like a lot of us are healing from being in those kinds of environments. And we wanted to create a space where we're never gonna we never do that. Like
Hmm.
this is not about like, yeah, we all want to be, manifesting our freedom and our dream lives and whatever, but it's not about like
Creating a
about
lot of
money.
debt that you're going to be more stressed
Yeah,
about,
right. Yeah,
getting
and
out of
and
that hole.
and making anybody feel like less than because their goal isn't to be a millionaire or
Mhm.
something, like it's just we really meet people right where they are and we just love them. Like it's such a loving environment. It's a super safe environment to come and share and, you know, yeah, just be
I
yourself.
like that.
Yeah.
Um, it's the thing also about Collier Collective. Um, you come in where you're at. If you want to live a life more developing your potential and developing more your gifts, it takes practice, it takes repetition, it takes learning. It reminds me, here's an example. If you have a baby and you just feed it once a day, what's it going to do? It's going to scream. It's not going to be satisfied, and fed well.
Yeah.
Being part of the Collier Collective, you're going to get the nourishment, you're going to get the feeding that will continue to build from the inside out strength, whether it's going to be your health, whether it's going to be your mindset, whether it's going to be really achieving some goals. And I so I want to ask you actually two more questions.
Okay.
um, how do you keep you operate a lot, okay, a lot of what's called MSIs, multiple
Uh-huh.
sources of income,
Yep.
okay? How do you keep a balance of that? That's one question, which will overlap with this one, is um, addressing time management.
Hmm.
So that's also kind of a interesting term, which I think is misleading. But I really like you to just share a little bit of
Sure.
mindset on that connected to
Yeah.
always manifesting.
Yeah. I am a very busy person. We have a lot going on. Multiple businesses running, like you said, multiple sources, multiple income streams. And yeah, I've just had to become, well, Bob Proctor used to teach about this. He used to say, time can't be managed. We all get the same amount of time. What you can do is manage your activities. And so I'm in a constant state of improving my management of my activities. So things like I am so highly scheduled. Like if you could see my calendar, it is like a rainbow of different categories and types of things. And it's just I live by my calendar. So I'm highly scheduled. I keep lists of things that need to get done and put them into my calendar so that I make sure that they get done. And it is I don't even think I have it that figured out, but I think I have it figured out relative to a lot of people. Like I think that most people, when I show them or let them see inside kind of the amount of things that I'm doing and managing, they're like, whoa, like, so I think I've figured it out, yeah,
Mhm.
pretty well so far relative to most. But yeah, it's just a matter of managing those activities and then also starting to become, a good delegator and trusting, building a team of other people that I trust to help me keep things moving.
Mhm.
Yeah, and sharing the workload.
So why I wanted to ask you that,
Okay.
okay, is because we both have had a little bit of conversation on this, and
Yeah.
when you have a creative spirit and brain, it just goes on to what you want to create next. I'm
Yeah.
so much like that. Um, but the thing that people may not understand, because I remember asking Alan Cohen this a long time ago, why are you doing this stuff you're doing? It just looked like so much work and it was so busy and flying here and setting this stuff up. Um, he's passionate about it.
Yeah.
So when you're in your soul, that fire that is in your soul, that you are so passionate and being of service to other people, it just spreads life like a wildfire. And I see that with you. I mean, it's not, it when we're in this space, it's, oh, I got to go to work. Oh, I got to get up. Same old thing. Oh, it's almost Friday. I don't know the difference between Friday, Monday, Saturday, Tuesday, whatever,
Totally.
right? So it's its own balance. But what I hear you say, and I'd like to tap into this a little more,
Sure.
because this is why people don't want to get out of the rocking chair.
Yeah.
Okay. Same old, same old, same old. Then you're going to get the same old. We all know that, of course. But because of choosing not to do that, to be using our gifts and talent, and here's where I want you to talk about this
Hmm.
a minute, is being free
Hmm.
to be. Being
Yes.
free to be you, being free to be me. I mean,
Yeah.
you saw me when we first met at a time I felt like I was stuck. Okay, I was absolutely stuck. I was underwater in some turmoil and different things, and it's a progression, to get out of that. So this what you're helping people do, and just share with us, what does it feel like to be that way yourself, to be free to be
Yeah.
you? Because we know what it's like not to be, but coming
Yeah.
into, yeah.
Yeah. I will say again, that was a lesson that I learned from Bob. So he used to quote a poem. I don't remember who it's by now, but I think it was Bill Gove. If I want to be free, I've got to be me, not the me I think you should be, not the me I think you think I should be. I don't remember how it goes. I'll totally,
Mhm.
but if I want to be free, I've got to be me. And to me, there is no freer feeling than knowing your purpose, like why you're on the planet, and living and working in that purpose. And I think the people that aren't free are the ones who haven't recognized their purpose yet, or in most cases, I think most people, they have an idea of what their purpose is, even if they may not have let themselves actually go there yet. But I think purpose is not actually as elusive as a lot of people think it is. I think the tough part is allowing yourself to go for it, you know, allowing yourself to actually have the courage to step into your purpose and your power and do the thing that you're here to do. Because I think we're all here for a specific reason.
Mhm.
Maybe it's a general reason, but some reason. We're here for a reason.
I heard the term regret is worse than failure.
Oh, for sure. Yeah,
Okay, so why regret not exploring or risking or trying to develop a dream that you've had,
yeah,
in this box that you don't want anyone to know? But that's what Collier Collective does.
yeah,
It's like, let's open that box up. What's in
yeah,
there, right?
totally. Yeah, yeah. Failure is a beautiful thing. Failure is a gift. Failure is progress. Regret is stagnation.
Mhm.
Regret means you didn't move. Failure means you stepped out and you tried and you learned a way that it didn't work. Now what's the next way? You know?
It kind of goes along with that statement, to love. I'd rather love than not know love, than
Totally. Yeah,
to,
loved and lost and never loved at all or something.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. We remember all these things, right?
Yeah.
Um, uh, but it's a purposeful life.
Mhm.
Oh my gosh, I would not want to live any other way. Does everything work out just fine? No. Okay. What does it do? It just leads to other opportunities. Oh, okay. Then here's another way. Or I might just say, I've created things, and like, oh wow, that just absolutely went nowhere.
Yeah. Like,
Okay.
yeah,
But I
for
tried
sure.
it.
I like to say actually, and I think I might have gotten this from Abraham, that
Uh-huh.
actually everything everything is supposed to have a happy ending. And if there's not a happy ending yet, then it's not over yet. So
Oh, I
when
like
you
that.
yeah, so when you've just manifested a dumpster fire somewhere in your life, that just means you're not done. Like there's more coming still. So I always that's so something I always remind myself, because I am someone who comes up against a lot of challenges and obstacles because I'm working on big things.
Mhm.
And I don't think I could be doing what I'm doing without the kind of mindset and spiritual basis that I've got after all of this, study and everything, because I have to remind myself all the time, like, oh man, this is a tough situation, or this sucks, or like this is hard. But
Mhm.
oh yeah, okay. So if if it hasn't worked itself out yet, then it's not over yet. So keep going. You know, the only way you can truly fail is to stop.
Totally. Okay, as we wind this down, Tommy, I would like you to share just briefly, morning to night, a life with Tommy. What?
Well,
Yeah.
okay. So life with like a day in my life right now.
From when you wake up.
Yeah, okay. So, like I said, I'm a very busy person right now. I've been called a workaholic by people. I like to say that workaholic is the label that the people that have no passion give
Oh,
to someone who does.
I like that.
So, yeah, so I wake up, you know what, I tried for a while to be like a super early riser. It's not for me. I'm more of a night owl.
Mhm.
So I get up about 7 and I work out first thing. I'm on a health and weight loss mission myself. So first thing I'm doing is either out walking or on the treadmill. And then we usually, depending on the day, I'm looking at my calendar over here.
Mhm.
Depending on the day, we've got, our manifesting with friends meetings and calls that we do. So, like, let's say if it's a Monday, then we have our manifesting with friends reading roundtable call. And then I have a call with my coach after that. So I have a coach. Her name is Julie, and she's amazing. She works with gene keys and human design. That's a whole nother topic we could go into sometime.
Yes.
But I get on her coaching call, and then I usually have another meeting of some kind with a private client or something else. And then I have a meeting with my team. And then we have our mastermind call if we're talking about a Monday. And then
Yes.
after that, I read with my reading partner. So I've had a reading partner that I read with every day, and I have been for about 5 years.
Mm.
So we read different things just for about 15, 20 minutes every day. So I read with her, and then I have another meeting usually with somebody. And then that's sort of starting to maybe a couple more meetings, or maybe by that time I'll actually start getting a little bit of work done because it's a lot of meetings during the days. But most often, right now, I'm getting a lot of work done kind of in the evenings. So then I will treadmill again, then eat dinner. I do a lot of intermittent fasting. So usually I'm fasting for 24 hours. So I just eat dinner. So I'll eat dinner and then work for a couple hours on whatever I need to, check off the to-do list today. So it's kind of a
That's
very full days.
amazing.
Yeah.
And doesn't I remember Stephen Covey sharing this that close to 70% of his day is really planning,
Hmm.
organization and
Oh yeah.
preparing and
Yeah.
all of that
Yeah.
in the actual doing.
Yeah.
There are actual I forget the name of this animal that they work really hard 20, 30% and to get their food, whatever it is, and 70% is rejuvenation and resting
Mm,
and
mm,
whatever. So this concept that we might have in our society of how we view work and what we're doing is very different than what you're talking about. What you're talking about is actually always manifesting the life you really, really want and the
yeah.
realities you really, really want.
Yeah. Yeah. And, I will say right now, like we're in a period. So we've only been doing this business for a little bit over a year. So we're still pretty new. And there's had to have been a lot of stuff created and initiated and built. And we're still in that. Like there's still a lot of things to still, create and build with this. And so we're in this period, both my husband and myself, where we are working a lot, but we work from home. We work together. We're, we schedule time to then, have non-working times as well. But right now it does appear like we work a lot, but you know what? Very, very rarely does it actually feel like work. I feel like I get to
Yeah.
play all day, literally play.
That my work is my play. Okay.
Yes.
When we're creating, we are the ones creating this, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
So when I say my schedule's really full or this is what I'm doing now, I'm not blaming anybody else.
No.
Okay,
Yeah.
I'm creating what I want to create.
Yep.
A
And
lot of
I'm
people are not doing that.
totally, and I'm here for it 100%. You know, do I want to work the hours that I'm working for the rest of my life? Probably not. Like I'm signed up for this amount of
Yeah.
bigness right now to lay this foundation, and I don't think it's going to be forever that I'll have this amount of like, stuff to do every single day. But I'm all here for it right now. Like
Yeah,
it is
when
so
you're
fun. You can't pull me
launching,
away. Yeah.
I love that. Unstoppable.
Yeah.
Okay,
And
when you're, go ahead.
oh, I was going to say, but I also take very good care of myself. So
Mhm.
if I have days like we all have where I'm fatigued or I'm not, I will totally stop working and like do
Mhm.
self-care, you know?
Mhm.
Like I'm not I've learned like you just are not going to have that full blast energy every single day. You're just not. So to go with those rhythms and ebbs and flows of life and ride the wave while you're on, a high energy
Mhm.
spot, and then when you're not, like pull back and relax and rejuvenate. Like it's so important, because if you don't do that, you'll burn out. I've learned so much about burnout in my former career, and even in this one, like
Mhm.
it's a real thing. So
Yeah,
yeah.
it's a real thing. And with expansion comes new levels of balance, of course.
Yeah,
You
yeah,
know, it's wow, just keep doing what you love doing, keep, and learning to do that. How would people best get in contact with you and your company? Can you give us the,
sure.
email
Yeah,
ways to contact you?
yeah, for sure. You can go to the colliercollective.com. So that's TheCollierCollective dot
Yeah,
com.
yeah. Uh-huh.
That's our main website. You can fill out a contact form there if you want to reach out, or you can follow me on social media at Tommy Collier Pro on most platforms. You can also go to manifestingwithfriends.com to check out our program, our community, which is just amazing. We have a 14-day free trial, so you can come and check us out for a couple of weeks before your credit card's charged, and see for yourself, and 30-day money back guarantee, and you can cancel anytime. So,
I love that.
yeah,
That's great. Um, Anything in closing? I don't know why this is coming to me too, that I think about. I was going to ask you, where do you find people are most stuck? But I just want to say, if anybody's stuck in their same old stories, and they want to get things circulating so much better in their life, you have an awful lot to offer your company, what you and Monty are doing.
yeah. So, what's my advice to them?
Yes. Any final advice,
Yeah. Well,
suggestions
I
right
will
now?
say,
Yeah.
I think the people that I see that are stuck,
Mhm.
the thing that keeps them stuck or that's making them stuck is, well, two things are coming to mind. One
Okay.
is they're in fear. So they're letting fear keep them from stepping out to do the thing that they know or that they think is going to make them happy, or they're afraid to walk away from the relationship that is keeping them anchored down, or where they're being abused or something like that, that's just completely preventing them from getting into a higher vibration.
Mhm.
So I think fear is a big piece. And also not understanding who you are. And by that, I
Mhm.
mean not understanding that you are um, a piece of God in human form.
Oh my gosh. We have got to talk about that one on another
Yeah,
video.
yeah,
Our innate,
yes,
our infinite, unlimited, amazing self.
yeah. I think, yeah, people that are
Wow.
stuck are not tapped into their true nature, which is that. And, you could call that lots of things, but
Mm-hmm.
yeah. So yeah, and our place is our community is definitely a place where you're going to learn more about that, and you're going to we're going to help you not let that fear stop you, because we're so supportive, and every single person is just so supportive. So yeah, but I mean, even if you don't come to our community, those are things you can work on if you're listening to this and you can resonate with that. Just
It's
learn more
really,
about who you are.
and it's really helpful, Tommy, for people to chime into your community. Like you said, there could be a 14-day trial, because all of our timelines are changing.
Hmm.
Okay. And people are spinning and wobbling. And this could add some real stability,
Yeah.
because we're in such a rapid change on the planet, and from different things, solar flares, on and on. I mean, no matter what, we still got to, live the best life and the best version of ourselves. And why not be with Collier
Yeah.
Collective, who can help you become aware of that
Yeah.
and develop that?
Yeah. We like to also refer to our community as a success support system. We love
Mm.
alliteration. So, but yeah,
Oh,
it's
I
a
like that.
support system. So if you
Mhm.
have had, like, we we are we are a social species. Uh,
Yes.
we are so interdependent on each other, and we live in this world right now that is trying to convince us that we're not, that we're, independence is the answer and whatever. We are so interdependent, and if we are not going with that, we are just not shining as bright as we could. We are not getting the support that we could, the help that we need.
Mhm.
And so that's what we're there to provide, that connection and that support and that love, and the expansion too,
The expansion, I like that. And it has a direct connection to your mental health, physical health, spiritual
Sure.
health,
Oh yeah, it's holistic.
emotional health. It,
Yep.
it, it just vibrates a higher
Yep.
vibration to every
Yep.
cell of your body.
Yep. And
Being.
always.
And always, yeah. So I want to thank you so much for sharing information about your company, personally about you, and absolutely invite the listeners to go to your website, check out what you are offering and doing, like, right away. I mean, this will make a difference
Yeah.
in a day. I've seen it with people. So thank you very much, and let's do
It's
this
my
again.
pleasure. Oh, I am so here for it. I feel like we could do like 10 of these.
I know. Probably will. Okay.
Okay, I'm down.
Okay.
Awesome. Thanks, Judy.